This is Carl Jung, one of the most influential thinkers in psychology. But have you ever wondered why his ideas hit you right in the soul? Jung wasn't just playing with abstract theories. He believed that every one of us hides a dark side, something we repress so deeply that we don't even know it exists. But here's the twist. Ignoring this dark side, that's exactly what's making you miserable. Carl Jung's theories reshaped how we think about the human mind. He took Freud's blueprint and turned it into something bigger, something mythic. We'll dig deeper into Jung's theory of the shadow self, a hidden part of your personality that, according to Jung, holds all the parts of you that you deny, suppress, and fear. But before we unpack what the shadow really is, let's set the scene. Did you know that Jung believed every person wears a mask? Yeah, a literal psychological mask. He called it the persona, the version of you that plays by society's rules, that tries to fit in, look good, be loved. Sounds harmless, right? But here's where things get interesting. The more you polish that persona, the more disconnected you become from your real self. And Jung warned, if you over-identify with your mask, you're not just faking it, you're losing your soul. The persona and the false self. Let's break this down. Imagine a kid, naturally wild, emotional, curious. But little by little, that kid gets the message. Don't cry, don't be loud, don't be too weird. Bit by bit, they learn to edit themselves to win approval. Sound familiar? Jung called this adaptation the persona. Donald Winnicott, another psychoanalyst, later called it the false self. The kid grows up believing that this edited version is the real them. They get praise for it, validation, love. But at what cost? The cost is huge. You start to betray your own authentic needs and desires just to stay accepted. It's the classic human trap, trading truth for belonging. The birth of the shadow. Here's where Jung's genius kicks in. Every part of you that doesn't fit that polished mask, the anger, the envy, the wildness, the messy emotions, doesn't disappear. Nope. It gets shoved into what Jung called the shadow. Think of it like a psychological basement. You don't see it, but it's there, simmering, waiting, and growing. And here's the punchline. The more you ignore it, the stronger it gets. Ever snapped at someone out of nowhere? Had an emotional meltdown that felt out of character? That's your shadow, slipping out through the cracks. Why we need the shadow. Now you might be thinking, great, so I'm lugging around a bunch of repressed darkness. What do I do with it? Here's the wild part. Jung believed that your shadow isn't just a trash bin for bad vibes. It's actually packed with vitality, creativity, and authenticity. Your life force. By facing your shadow, by integrating it, you become whole. Ignore it? You stay fragmented, anxious, hollow. In Jung's words, one does not become enlightened by imagining figures of light, but by making the darkness conscious. Let that sink in. Real-life example, the nice guy syndrome. Let's make this concrete. Ever met someone who's too nice? Always agreeable, always helpful, never angry. Sounds great, until you realize they're seething inside, resentful, passive-aggressive. That's textbook shadow repression. They've buried their anger so deep under the persona of being the good guy that it leaks out in toxic, sneaky ways. And here's the kicker. Jung would say that until they face their anger, they'll keep sabotaging themselves and their relationships. The collective shadow. Jung didn't stop at the personal level. He saw the shadow in societies too. Every culture, every group, hides parts of itself it can't bear to face, whether it's prejudice, violence, greed. And history shows, when collective shadows are ignored, they explode, wars, oppression, genocide. Jung warned that projection, blaming others for your shadow, is one of the most dangerous forces on Earth. In other words, if we don't own our darkness, we'll keep seeing it in other people and attacking them for it. So, how do you actually meet your shadow without letting it destroy you? That's the art of what Jung called shadow work, a transformative process of reclaiming your disowned parts. In the next part of this series, we'll break down practical steps to start integrating your shadow, and why doing so might be the most life-changing decision you ever make. But for now, remember Jung's warning. Until you make the unconscious conscious, it will direct your life, and you will call it fate. Step 2. Befriending the shadow. Okay, now you've spotted your shadow. What next? Here's where most people flinch. The natural reaction is to deny it, fight it, bury it deeper. But Jung's advice? Do the opposite. Turn toward it. Get curious. Dialogue with it. You can journal, meditate, even literally write a letter to your shadow asking, "What do you need? What have I been ignoring? How are you trying to protect me?" And don't expect your shadow to be polite. It might hit you with truths you've been dodging for years. Step 3. Integration, not exorcism. This is crucial. Shadow work is not about killing your dark side. It's about integration. Example. Let's say your shadow holds suppressed anger. You don't erase it. You learn to channel it into healthy boundaries, assertiveness, creative fire. This is what Jung called individuation, the journey of becoming a whole, authentic self. The shadow isn't your enemy, it's your missing piece. By owning it, you become more of who you really are, not less. The risks of ignoring your shadow. Let's get real. If you skip shadow work, what happens? You stay stuck in toxic patterns. You project your shadow onto others, creating endless conflict. Worst case, your repressed emotions erupt through anxiety, depression, addiction. Jung was crystal clear. Whatever you do not bring to consciousness will appear in your life as fate. In other words, ignore your shadow, and it runs the show. Attachment theory and the shadow. Here's where things get extra juicy. Attachment theory tells us that as kids, we learned to betray ourselves to stay connected to caregivers. If you had to suppress anger to keep your parents' love, boom, into the shadow it went. This is why shadow work is so healing. It reclaims those abandoned parts of you that just wanted to be seen and loved. Real-life example. The overachiever ever met a high achiever who's crushing goals but feels dead inside? Chances are their shadow is packed with unmet emotional needs and unprocessed pain. They wear the persona of success, but deep down, they're starving for authenticity. Shadow work helps them reconnect to their true desires, not just what gets applause, because at the end of the day, no amount of external success can fill the void left by your abandoned self. Outro, here's the kicker. Shadow work isn't a one-and-done thing. It's a lifelong journey, but one that pays off in deep self-knowledge, healthier relationships, and inner peace. So the next time you catch yourself judging someone harshly, pause. Ask, what part of me am I seeing in them? That's where the magic starts. As Jung said, the privilege of a lifetime is to become who you truly are. Thanks for watching. If this video cracked something open for you, drop a comment below and hit that like button if you're ready to dive deeper into your shadow. And remember, the parts of you that you hide might just be the key to your freedom. See you in the next one video.